Indestructible Gaming. Choose your character. Musket Shot. Mr. K. Let the review begin.
Hello and welcome to Indestructible Gaming. I am Musket Shot. Alongside me is my co-host, Mr. K. Mr. K, hello.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hello. This is episode 17, and we are discussing today a game that you were very excited about about 6 months ago. So I guess.
Yeah, it's about 6 months ago.
And came out about a month ago.
Yeah, I think it was a month ago.
So we are discussing, of course, Maneater.
The brand new exciting shark game.
Yeah. So let's kick it off. All right. So Maneater is developed and published by Tripwire Interactive. And Tripwire's other games are Killing Floor. You might have heard of some of these. Killing Floor, Xenoclash, and obviously this game here, Maneater. And there's another game that they're putting out this year called Chivalry 2, which they didn't do the first Chivalry, so that was done by somebody else. But this Chivalry 2 is under their direction, I guess.
That's been in my eye. We'll have to check it out sometime.
Yeah, so have you played Killing Floor or Xenoclash at all? I know you played Chivalry.
No, I've seen gameplay of Killing Floor, but it's not really my thing.
Yeah. I know I tried Chivalry, and I didn't particularly like the controls of it and the gameplay of it. So, but I would be curious to see how Chivalry 2 is and see if it's any different or any better.
Well, from the looks of the gameplay, it looks really good.
Yeah. So Maneater is rated M for mature, 17 plus, and of course it's got some of the typical things. The first thing that it says is blood and gore, and I was like, duh. It's a shark game. Blood and gore. If you don't know there's not going to be blood and gore in this game, then nope. I don't know what you're looking for. So blood and gore, mild language, drug reference, intense violence, of course, and mature humor. And it's a single player open world RPG, which I don't know. I guess the perception of RPG for me is always, I'm always thinking like fantasy type games or games where there's a lot more like almost like turn-based type stuff, but doesn't always necessarily mean that, huh? So, and you could play it on Xbox One, PS4, and on the PC. I don't think this is available on the Switch yet. I didn't see it.
It is coming to Switch, though. It is coming to Switch. They don't have a release date yet.
No, that's good. So you have Switch as well, so who knows? But we played it on Xbox One. You did the electronic download? Correct?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it.
Okay, and I pre-ordered it as a game disc. Mine came with the Tiger Shark skin as a freebie, which I gave to you. So we'll get into that a little bit. And for now, we'll start off with the plot of the game. And Mr. K, you want to give the plot?
Well, the plot of the game is basically, like you said, it's an RPG where you go around as a shark and traverse in your different environments throughout the land and avenge your mother's death. And that's pretty much it. Consume, complete missions, and grow older with age and more powerful. And eventually you'll come across some mutations you can add to your shark, which can change her look and her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool thing they put in.
Yeah. And there's a narrator in the game that kind of explains different shark facts, other facts or comments on certain things. Some of it funny, some of it sort of serious. And the narrator of the game is Cyril Figgis from Archer. And what's his name on Rick and Morty?
Jerry Smith,
Mr. Chris Parnell. So it's pretty funny listening to him. Sometimes he does make some, like I said, he does say some serious shark facts at times, but most of the time it's a lot of goofiness and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to have him. And he doesn't talk all game long. He just talks every once in a while.
Here and there, you can go around the environment and slap these signs, and they'll basically be like a tour.
Mhm.
It gives you like a little tour to yourself. It's weird. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, there's different things in the game. So, I mean, the main, you start off as a pup, right? Is that the correct term?
Yeah,
As a pup. So you want to keep growing. So your main purpose in the game is really to, consume fish. Obviously, now the fish and different sea creatures all have different sort of rankings per se in each level. So some might be a little bit bigger than you, and if you try to eat them, it might be more difficult to eat them, or might take a lot more to eat them. They might fight back a lot more.
Oh yeah, especially if you go after an alligator, the first thing you come out is a pup.
Yeah. So there's things like groupers, there's turtles, there's catfish, there's some
alligators.
other fish. There's alligators, there's barracuda, there's some other fishes that are in the...
There's a good variety.
Yeah, a good variety. So, I mean, the real big thing is to just constantly try to eat and try to keep growing. And during the game, you have like a meter that gives you kind of like a skill level. And once you hit a certain skill level, you go from pup to teen, and then from teen to adult.
These go basically like every 10 levels, I think.
Yeah, you keep moving up based on, once you hit a certain age, you move up and stuff like that.
And a way to level up is by eating the environment around you, like animals, and then doing missions, collecting collectibles like driver's plates you can find around the area.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like I said, the signs that do a little tourist thing.
Yeah, they're called landmarks.
Landmarks, yeah. And then there was a third one. What was the third one?
There's the caches.
That's what it was, the caches.
And those give you kind of like, they're sort of, I want to say they're kind of like power-ups, but they kind of give you a boost of energy and kind of help your growth.
The caches are a way to basically just traverse the land and explore it a little more. Mm-hmm. And then instead of just ignoring it and moving on. Yeah.
So there's, like I said, there's different sea creatures and reptiles that you have to deal with. The alligators are tough. If they are a bigger size than you, taking them on head on is really not a good idea.
Unless you're really good at dodging and attacking them. It's possible. If you're that determined, you can defeat them. But
they will tear you apart, though.
It has to be worth your time.
Yeah. But one of the big things about the game that is probably, I guess, personally my favorite part, and probably your favorite part, is attacking the people in the water.
Oh, yeah,
or along the shoreline.
That's the funnest.
Yeah. So there's different times where there's people on boats, or maybe just swimming, or maybe they're in a paddle boat or on a tube or something like that. Some are right on the shoreline of a beach or area, and you can attack these people, and it's really, really fun.
Of course, this will bring up like a bounty bar like GTA or something along those lines, where you'll get eventually hunters after you. Mm-hmm. And when you kill these hunters, you gain experience points, but also the experience points for this other bar, which is called the wanted level.
Yeah, it's called the infamy level, right?
Infamy bar.
Yeah.
And when you kill these special hunters, it gives you certain abilities which you can use on your shark.
Right.
For an example, electric fins.
Mm-hmm.
So those can help you out a lot.
Yeah, and there's a handful of different abilities that you can add to your shark. Obviously, by the end of the game, you become a gigantic megalodon, basically. That's the goal.
Coolest part of the game, though.
Yeah, but you want to just continue growing and stuff like that. But like I said, I think one of the one of my favorite parts, and I know it was one of yours because you mentioned it to me a number of times, was attacking the humans in the water.
Oh yeah, it's funny because when you grab them on land and bring them into water, you can hear like a water effect on their voice.
As they're screaming for help as you're dragging them under the water. there's a lot of different things you can do. You can jump out of the water, basically, and land on the boats and attack them. If you do jump on land, which you can jump on land and attack people, there is a thing though that you only have so much time before your shark will suffocate.
I mean, makes sense.
Yes. And so when you're on land, your shark will start, you'll see that the shark is suffocating, and it's, it's of utmost importance to get back to the water so you can, regain your health and stuff like that. But
yeah.
And that's, it's tough. It's a lot of fun to jump on land because you see the people running and they don't really expect you to be chasing them. And then they don't even notice that you're right behind them. And if you can grab them and then, continue on the other side of like maybe the beach or island that you're on and go right into the water, it's even better. But it is tough to sometimes turn yourself around and go, all right, I gotta get back now to where the water is as quickly as possible.
You can, another thing you can do is grab people and pull a little Harry Potter swish and flick and hit them with your tail and launch them across the area.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can throw them up in the air and catch them and stuff. I mean, it's pretty, there's a few different things you can do. It's pretty funny to do this with people. You can hit the boats from underneath and flip them over, knock the people into the water and stuff like that. As soon as they see the shark fin, they start freaking out, which is pretty funny. To regain health, because once you start getting hunted, obviously these hunters will start shooting at you, and they have a pretty good shot, which it's kind of difficult because you're trying to swim away from these hunters, and there's times where I was like thinking, oh, I'm in a good spot. They can't see me now. I'm better, but they have like an infrared or laser scope on it on their guns, and they can hit you from pretty far away and pretty deep in the water.
Yeah, but if you go under the water just deep enough, like a regular fish, they would lose you eventually.
Yes,
especially if you have out on your cove, which is basically like your home base where you respawn or load in and level up and evolve. It'll get rid of that.
Yeah,
pretty fast.
You can hide under different things like maybe a rock or pipes or something like that are in the water that sort of mask yourself from the hunters and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a cove that you start in, and that's basically your home place to start each level in. And when you finish doing a mission or something, once you get away from that mission, just far enough away, you can kind of zoom yourself back to
fast travel, pretty much.
Yeah, fast travel back to the cove, and it's basically like a save point there, which I didn't realize it. One of the first couple times I played it, I couldn't figure out why. All of a sudden, I went back into the game, and I thought it was a glitch, actually. I thought that something happened, and my missions didn't save for some reason. I didn't realize I had to go back to the cove to resave everything. I was like, oh, man, what a bummer. But so definitely if you play the game, don't make that mistake like I did. So there's a lot of different things. It's a lot of different missions to do in the game.
Right, there's definitely a bunch to do, especially if you're going for that 100%.
Yeah, and you got 100% in the game.
Yep, I think it was about 14 hours.
Yeah. So that was one of the things I saw online. Looking at some of the people that commented on the game, that seemed to be around, 15, 16 hours was about what most people finished the game in. So, and it took you roughly around 2 days worth of playing, right?
Yeah, about 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. So some of the things like you mentioned that this game has sort of a GTA touch to it a little bit. Do you think so? I mean, I kind of think so with the fact that you can attack people and stuff like that.
In terms of freedom,
hunted.
Yeah, in terms of eating people and being hunted. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I can't say it has. There's a free roam, but there's an extent to that.
Yes.
So you can't really go wherever you want.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in different grotto or a different area. Based on what you've done in that area, mission wise, you can roam around and stuff like that. But if you haven't completed all the missions, you're still going to get attacked by certain things, and until you get those missions done. But you can go back to those areas.
Yeah, you going into another area where you haven't been yet, without going to the other area where you need to go before.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a dangerous thing to do, because then you can meet up with like level 30 characters and you're like, only level 12.
Yeah.
And even if it's like a minor difference in a couple of levels, that's still a big thing. That still matters.
Yeah.
Level does matter in this game. It's not like a level 2 pup can get rid of a level 13 alligator. Unless you're that good, that's impossible.
Right. Yeah. So as far as the missions, a couple people, I saw people mention that one of the things they didn't like about the game was that they felt the missions were very repetitive. Did you think that at all?
It has crossed my mind. I'm like, maybe this is a little repetitive, and then I realized that you do go to different locations, and that leads up to different environments where you have to do these missions in.
Right. Yeah.
So they can be a little repetitive, but only if you think that way.
Yeah.
It really matters on how you approach it. You can make it repetitive. You can just go up there and eat them. But you don't have to just eat them. You can hit them with your tail. You can launch them across places. You can
do different things to them.
You can do different things to them, scare them even. You don't even have to eat them immediately.
Right.
You just make it repetitive. But you can change it. You don't have to make it repetitive. You can make it fun.
Right.
And that's what the game's aiming for.
Yeah. So there's some of the predators, like the barracuda, the alligators and stuff like that. Which one did you find? I thought the alligators are probably the toughest to beat, but the barracudas are definitely the fastest, or it seemed like the fastest to me.
When I started, the alligators were the most difficult to fight.
Yeah.
I think that was the only animal that I actually had an issue with.
And it's funny because you will hear them coming at you. You hear like a noise.
Yeah, they do make noises.
So you kind of know that they're nearby and they're coming, and all the either reptiles or fish or sea animals that are in the water, you will see that when you get near them, they will kind of like highlight their body in red, and it'll tell you what they are and what level they are. So you sort of know whether or not to go after certain fish or certain creatures.
Yeah, and each of them have their own special kind of attacks as well.
Yeah.
None of them will do the same species will do the exact same thing. They just have different ways of attacking for each kind of species.
Yeah. And some of the attacks are, I will admit, some of the attacks are as disappointed as I was to get attacked by an alligator. There was one the other day that I was swimming and an alligator came at me. I was up towards the top of the water and I had no clue that the alligator was that close. And somehow it hit me, and then it picked me up and out of the water. We both went out of the water, and it then slammed me back into the water. It was actually pretty cool looking. It was pretty cool. But the underwater animation is pretty amazing. The controls of the shark,
controls were slick.
Yeah, the controls of the shark just swimming around is pretty cool.
In terms of moving underwater in games, this one's got it down pat.
I know some people thought the eating or attacking of different creatures and stuff like that, the controls were a little chaotic and clunky. I think it was just, to me, I don't know if it was. I think for me, it was just a typical game where you have to really just
you're in
practice.
Water. Eventually, you're going to pop out of it.
Yeah. I think it just happens every once in a while where you...
Yeah, it's not all the time. It just sometimes happens if there's a really big fight going on.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to miss. You're going to go right past the thing and go right up out of the water, or you're going to miss it completely. I don't think it's so much the controls are clunky. I think it's just that it's just you sometimes have to time things right.
It's just happening. It's just go with it.
Yeah. But the shark will as a shark, there is like one of the buttons will kind of speed you up a little bit, so you can swim a little faster, or you can or just swim at a very slow, methodical pace.
I mean, it really depends on how you want to move. It also depends on your shark's evolution.
Right.
Because there are stuff you can attach to your shark that will make him go faster.
Yeah. And one of the things you can get early on for your shark is sonar ability. So you can press a button and it basically kind of gives you a clearer view of what's in front of you, around you, and stuff like that.
Think of like Assassin's Creed Eagle Vision or Batman's Vision thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what they call it. But basically, you just scan your environment, and anything that will be of importance will show up in red.
Yeah, and as you progress, and you can upgrade your sonar so it'll last longer and be more helpful to you. Yeah, when you first get it, it's kind of helpful for like a short period of time, and then it kind of disappears, and then but you can keep hitting it and stuff like that. It just doesn't help you as long until you progress in size and abilities. But one of the things I wanted to mention too with the underwater look of the game is you kind of got a feeling that I mean, I've never been like scuba diving or underneath the water in some areas where like this is supposed to be like, the first area you kind of start off is in like a bayou area, and then there's like a lake type area around a city and stuff like that. And the areas that you go into and the water you go into, the water is really filthy in there. Like there's like debris, there's stuff floating around. There's like bottles floating by. There's paper. There's
cars.
There's
buses.
Yeah, there's stuff all over the place, and I think it's kind of interesting to throw that stuff in there because they could have easily have just done, okay, we'll just make everything kind of clear and easy to see, but it sort of adds to, I think, to the game where it kind of adds to the game that there's this sense of like, okay, this was probably what it really looks like underwater for a lot of these, for these sea animals that, they got to navigate around all this human pollution and waste that's in the water down there. We don't see it up at the top, but if you really went scuba diving in some of these places, you'd probably encounter this type of stuff. One of the other things that I noticed that people were talking about, and I don't know, maybe this was because maybe these people got early releases of the game or something like that, but a number of people mentioned that they encountered frame rate issues in the game, and a number said that when they had saved the game and then went back, their save game was corrupted, and then they almost had to start all over again.
That hasn't happened to me, but
yeah, I'm wondering if that was like, early on, maybe before it technically got released.
I mean, Xbox got theirs pretty early.
Yeah, so I haven't had that issue with mine, and I know they do updates almost it seems like almost every other time I play the game, there's an update going on Xbox for it. So I think they've kind of fixed a lot of the issues or problems that some of these people that have reviewed it, are mentioning. So there's somebody put out that they thought it was a good mix between an 80s horror movie and a nature show, which I thought that was a pretty good.
That's pretty accurate.
That was a pretty good description of this game, I think, because it has that 80s feel, kind of like a Jaws feel to it, but then also with Chris Parnell documenting and narrating things and telling you about certain things. It has that, Jacques Cousteau moment of narrating you're following the shark as he goes for food and all this stuff. So it's pretty funny. So I thought that was a pretty good description of the game. I think they should actually use that for a description for the game to give let people know what type of game they're getting when they play this game. So there's a lot to play, a lot of things to do in this game.
Boss battles, there's those as well.
Yeah, there's just a lot of different things to explore. Just just exploring the waters that you're in. They're pretty expansive. There's some things you can't get into depending on your age and stuff like that. There's like certain grates that you can bash through and kind of like go through these pipes and stuff like that to get to different things. Some of the things that you want to search for, like the landmarks, the license plates, the cache, some of those are in weird spots. So sometimes it takes you kind of have to really search for them. You can go back and forth to your map and kind of look and see where you are, how close you are to the thing, and can kind of tell like, oh, I'm on top of it. I'm on top of it. And there is like a guide in the game where it's almost like a compass type of thing where it kind of counts down how many more meters you got left to get to it, or whatever it is, feet or meters or whatever. And it'll tell you, like how close you are and stuff like that. And you can kind of tell like you're in the right direction. Okay. You only need, 30 more meters to get to this thing. So
sometimes, and sometimes some of those caches or driver's licenses driver's plates, they can also have barriers in front of them that will make you age up in order to unlock them. So you'll have to leave them alone until later on to 100% the area.
Yeah, so you gotta makes you have to go back to the area to get those things if you want to do it.
Which is probably one of the main reasons they added a fast travel, so that swimming wouldn't take forever.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, so you can easily get back from one. Once you've done different locations, you can go back to those other locations if you want by just, moving over to the grotto that you want to do fast travel, and you pop back into that grotto, and then you can go explore back into that other area you were in originally. So I like that part of it. I thought that was pretty good. I think I'm glad they did something like that, and it wasn't like, oh, I got to swim from this area to this area and make my way back. That would have been tough to do. And there's, I think, 7 different lagoons, if I'm not correct. If I'm correct,
7 or 8. There's a good amount of them.
7 lagoons, I think, to explore. But again, it depends on, how soon you want to explore them, because you might need to build up yourself and build up your abilities and stuff like that before you jump into another section. Anything else that you want to discuss or talk about on this, other than a lot of chomping on people and having some fun with people?
I think if I only had to say 2 things about this game that I would want them to, well, not to change, but like the only 2 complaints I have is that, first one, there's this one part of the game where the main bad guy, Pete, he basically poisons this area, and because of it, you get hurt when you go into the water. Like, like poison would do in water. But the thing is, if you already have that part 100% complete, you can just totally ignore that it's there and just fast travel to the next place you need to go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you already passed it, because this happens to a point when you're already past that area. So having the fast travel there for that part makes it kind of obsolete.
Yeah.
There's kind of no point in going through the poison water if you can just fast travel to a safer place where you actually need to go.
Yeah.
Instead of going through that water. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Another issue is at the end of the game, I happen to have a glitch come upon me. And I wasn't expecting it either, because it was during a loading screen, which these happened once in a while. But that's probably because Xbox users got to play it a day early, and I was eager to play it early. So I put my hands on it, and that's how I got done within like 3 days. But basically, at the end of the game, it was going to do the last cutscene, and then the game crashes.
Oh my goodness.
So at first I'm like, all right, maybe this is fine. Maybe it'll just load me back in. I can redo the mission. Because the mission was pretty easy, not going to lie. And I'll win, and I'll get to see it. Except that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It loaded me in back my grotto. Everything's done, and I cannot replay it. So I had to look it up on YouTube and watch someone else's shark, because they do implement your shark in this cutscenes. Oh,
really?
So I missed out on seeing my shark do the last and final things.
Yeah.
So I had to watch someone else's, and that kind of ruined it a little bit.
Yeah. That's one of the things that was kind of cool too, though, that they did add was that as you're getting hit and hurt and stuff like that, there's like damage to your shark that sort of remains with your shark, like scars. Which I thought that was pretty cool to add that type of thing. They could have easily just, get bigger each level, those go away or something like that, but they kept those, and that was kind of neat. So what's your final overall impression and score for this game?
I think I would have to, the game was really fun. I had a lot of fun with it. It reminded me a lot of Jaws, and I always wanted one of those games where you could be the bad guy, and there's not a lot out there, honestly, and I want to see more, but this shark in Maneater is a good leap forward in terms of that. I think they did an amazing job with the motion underwater and the underwater itself. It looks beautiful and disgusting at times. It really matters where you are.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
The fights can be really fun and thrilling. Eating people is very satisfying. I hope they add DLC in the future. I would like to see something like a giant crab or, I don't know, maybe a kraken. That'd be cool.
Big giant squid.
Yeah, giant squid. I would like multiplayer. That's one of my main things. 'Cause that would be fun with another person.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool if they really wanted to add like 100% kind of unlock for everything, because they don't give you anything for doing it, which is sad. But what I would, if they're going to, I want them to add a mode where if you eat people, it won't gain any notoriety. You won't have anybody on you.
Yeah.
So you can just eat people as much as you want without any problems. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
And especially if you have someone else playing with you.
Right.
Able to eat as much people as you want.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Well, what about a kind of 1 versus 1 type game where like one person's the shark and the other person's like the hunter?
That'd be cool. I can see them doing that. Maybe like a 4v1 kind of deal. One player plays as a shark, the other 4 play as huntsman.
Yeah. And then you can, as a shark, you can go up and attack those people and kind of eat them and then see who's the last one left alive.
Imagine playing first person as a sailor and then you see a giant megalodon under your boat.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, cool. that would be kind of cool.
A giant fin.
That would be kind of cool.
Well, anyways, my final score of Maneater today is 9.5 out of 10.
Nice. Okay. So I liked a lot of the gameplay. I loved the controls of the shark swimming, the chomping on the fish. At first, took me a couple times to get used to it, but you do get used to it. It's a lot of fun. Attacking the humans in the water, whether they're in the water or just on the edge of the beach, or in a boat or in a paddle boat, is, I think, so much fun and kind of satisfying and therapeutic in a way, I guess. It's kind of similar to GTA. Sometimes when you just have a bad day, you just drive a car around really fast.
Yeah, it's one of those games if you got
and do jumps,
you can just go around and just start eating people.
Yeah, no, you kind of do stupid stuff that you know, as a shark. I mean, there's not too many games where you can play as a shark other than that other Jaws game. That's
what I'm saying. They should implement a mode where there's no like bounty on you. You can just go around and just eat people for the fun of it.
Yeah, they almost like there should be like a playground mode.
Exactly.
You know, you don't have to do any boss battles. You don't have to. You just explore any of the levels and just jump around and attack people and, you know, scare people. And
like, it's fun to kill hunters, but when you're really into just having fun killing the people and they just show up, they can, if you're not too careful, they can drain your health. You will die fast if you're not too careful enough.
Yeah, they'll get you pretty quickly.
Which is why I do want a playground mode, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
You just do whatever you want, however you want, how long you want.
Yeah, so hopefully Tripwire will do that. They'll add like a playground mode where you can just go in and
that'd be really fun.
You want to just hey, I just want to chill on, play simple game. I don't want to worry about anything. I just want to swim around and attack people in boats and people on the beach and just have some fun playing the game, or eat other fish and just swim around the different water areas and stuff like that and explore. That's all I want to do. I think that'd be really good, and hopefully they'll do that. And hopefully that'll be like one of their updates and downloads or something like that at some point down the road. But as a final score for me, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I think there's a couple things I probably would like a little bit better, but I think it's I think it is a fun game. It's just it is sort of satisfying, like I said, to just attack things and try chomp down on things as a big shark and scare people and stuff like that. It's kind of funny hearing all the screams and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun. So that would be my score, 9 out of 10.
It is kind of funny how we're going from one animal review to another animal game review.
Yeah, well, this one sort of. It's because we got like a creature from the sea that scares people.
And now we got an animal on the land.
So now we have something on the land that scares people. We're
not controlling them this time.
No,
we're out to exterminate.
Yeah. Based on the trailer we watched, we were like, oh my god, we have to play this game. So, would you like to give the name of the game?
So the next game we're reviewing is Kill It With Fire, and that's where myself and I will destroy spiders. And me as an arachnophobe, that's not going to be fun, but it will also be pretty fun if you catch my drift.
Yeah. So you get to look for spiders in your house, and there's all kinds of different. Seems like based on what we saw in the trailer, a bunch of different weapons and things you can use to try to kill the spiders. Even to the point of, I guess, going to the full extreme of actually using like a flamethrower type of thing and just
ninja stars,
basically burning your house down around you. In the trailer, you see the character shooting the spider with a gun, see it whacking it with different other objects, stuff like that.
What? That's not how you kill spiders?
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, how you want to do it is up to you. I mean, that's your house. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. We'll definitely play it and see how we like it and give you our review for that next week. And we want to just point out and say thank you again to many of you that listen to our podcast. Some of you listen to it weekly, and we really appreciate that very much. And some of you that listen here and there to maybe just listen to hear about certain games, which is really cool. That's fine. But we've this week hit 400 downloads.
400.
So like we said before, I think, for some people that number doesn't really mean a lot to them. They're like, that's nothing. But to us, I think it meant a lot. 400
is a big amount.
Downloads is huge for us, and we are super excited and super happy with that, and still very excited about the folks that we talk to on Twitter and elsewhere about their games and play their games and talk about their games on these podcasts. So we're going to obviously continue doing that and hope to hopefully within the next couple of weeks or so, or a few weeks from now, hopefully we'll be talking about 500. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice.
But we really appreciate it. We've now finally gotten into Australia. Somebody's actually listened to our podcast in Australia, this past podcast. So that was pretty cool. So we're in Europe, in Asia, North America, South America. Haven't gotten into Africa yet, or the Antarctic. I don't think we're going to get into the Antarctic, but haven't gotten into Africa yet. But it's pretty cool. It's really neat to see a lot of different areas around the world of people listening to the podcast and wanting to hear about indie games. And I think that's really, really fun. So I'm glad that people are doing that. And I hopefully that when you're listening to us, you're enjoying the show and then checking out these games afterwards and giving them a shot.
Yeah. Worth your time. It always is.
Yep.
Doesn't hurt to try.
Right. All right, Mr. K, any other final words?
Nothing other than we'll be seeing you guys next week as we are screaming from spiders in our houses as we're burning them down.
And hopefully within the next week or so, we can get our Twitch channel up and going and actually have some video game footage on there for you to watch and share. Who knows, maybe at some point we'll actually do some stuff live through there and play some games and be able to chit chat with you and do some other stuff. So
yeah, would be real fun.
So we're working on it, trying to get it up and going. And it's mainly just testing things out right now and making sure we can get things to work properly. So
if you guys are interested in anything you want us to play on Twitch, send us a message on Twitter or Facebook or just about anything.
Or email us. Yep.
Yep. We'll keep in touch. All
right. Well, that's all I got, folks. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll hope to see you next week.
See you later, guys. Peace.
Thank you.
Game over.
Hey, it's Mr. K here. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. Also, you can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and iRadio. Anyways, hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.